Hawkeye, Clint Barton, ancestry, human.
I'm thinking human.
Yeah, I think we're pretty safe with human. Background,
So you could go criminal here.
yeah, for his time as Ronin.
He also had a time, or I think he started as a criminal, if I'm not mistaken.
He was a hired killer. I believe that's actually a background.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. He started off as antagonist to Iron Man.
So what are you thinking? I think those two are pretty good.
Hired
I
killer.
was looking for, like, spy, but I couldn't find.
I think hired killer probably.
Hired killers.
Because you get stealth, underworld lore skill, terrain stalker, which is pretty good. Hired killer, I think. Now you were saying fighter.
Yeah.
I disagree on this.
Okay.
In my opinion, there are two options.
Oh, I think I have an idea of what you're thinking.
There are two options to be the best marksman possible in the game.
Okay.
There's fighter, because both of them start off with expert in their preferred weapons. There's fighter, and there's gunslinger. I am going to suggest something wild and crazy. I'm going to suggest gunslinger. Yeah. And instead of using a bow, using a crossbow.
What?
Yes, because specifically how it works mechanically.
There doesn't seem to be any reason you can't reflavor a crossbow. Or, let's say a crossbow is a longbow.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
But gunslinger, as you'll see in a second, is going to fix your issue with the different types of arrows.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. That's what I was assuming you were thinking. I thought you were going to suggest Magus.
Magus? He's very non-powered, so I wanted to stay away from magic. Because I looked at spell, Magic Archer, Eldritch Archer, whatever it's called, for archetypes. I wanted to stay away from those and stay as non-magical as possible.
Like, you could probably find some spells that are non-magical-esque, where they at least don't...
Yeah, there would be ways to cheese in Sure Strike in builds for him, for sure, which just gives you advantage, essentially.
Yeah, and then there's spells like Web that you could use as like a net arrow or something. But anyways, Gunslinger sounds cool, yeah.
I would suggest Gunslinger's Way of the Sniper. You practice a style of shooting that relies on unerring accuracy and perfect placement of your first shot. You keep hidden or at a distance, staying out of the fray and bring unseen death to your foes. Slinger's Reload, Covered Reload, Initial Deeds, Initial One Shot, One Kill, Advanced, Vital Shot, Greater, Ghost Shot. And Way Skills, Stealth. Way of the Sniper, we gotta select terrain also. I'd say Rubble, probably, of the three options.
It's a little bit more urban.
Yeah.
And every time the Avengers fight anywhere, it turns into Rubble anyway.
That's true. But Way of the Sniper, I think, of the options there, fits the best. The thing is, with this is fairly new, because the Gunslinger did just get updated with the Paizo moving away from the OGL and D&D.
Yeah, this is the remastered Gunslinger.
There weren't tons of changes, but a lot of the changes were really nice. Specifically, Slinger's Precision. You deal an additional +2 precision damage with strikes made using non-repeating crossbows, and you deal an additional 1d4 precision damage with strikes using non-repeating firearms. So with this, he gets an extra 2 damage because he's using a crossbow.
Extra 2 damage and extra d4, correct?
No, the d4 is only for non-repeating firearms.
Is a crossbow a repeating firearm?
So you deal an extra +2 precision
with non-repeating crossbows, and then you deal an extra 1d4 precision on strikes using non-repeating. Oh, firearms.
Right. And then if you're a Gunslinging Legend, which you get, I believe, at level 13, deal an additional. It bumps the damage a little bit.
Yeah, it's great. And then they have some. I don't think we're gonna be seeing it on this one, but they have some changes to proficiency with combination weapons.
Yeah, so combination weapons is really more of a thing for Wave the Trigger brand instead of Wave the Sniper.
I wasn't really suggesting it for this, but
it's really cool, and you can do a lot of really cool stuff with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Heritage, I think, probably was a versatile human.
Versatile gives you the general feats. Versatile?
Yep, I think versatile gives him more of what he wants. General feat, Catfall. Always Catfall.
Always Catfall, but it also just makes sense.
The extra training in acrobatics. Ancestry feat. Do you have anything that stand out to you? I think probably Natural Ambition to get him an additional class feat.
Yeah, class feat. Yeah, that's probably a good idea here. Yeah, he doesn't need unconventional weaponry.
So I'm going to suggest for the class feat from Natural Ambition, Crossbow Crack Shot. You're exceptionally skilled with the crossbow. The first time each round that you interact to reload a crossbow, you are wielding including interact actions as part of the slinger's reload and similar effects, you increase the range increment of your next strike with a weapon by 10 feet and deal 1 additional precision damage per weapon damage die with that strike. If your crossbow has the backstabber trait and you are attacking an off-guard target instead of the normal benefits of the backstabber feat, deals 2 additional precision damage per weapon damage die in place of its normal effects.
Yeah, that's very nice.
And then for the class feat, Munitions Crafter. Munitions Crafter gives you trained in crafting, and it gives you the ability to craft alchemical ammunition.
Yeah, nice.
Alchemical ammunition is going to be how you get the different types of arrows and stuff that you were saying you weren't sure how to get.
Yeah, I mean, you get some exploding arrows here now.
Mm-hmm.
Alchemical ammunition will probably give us some more trick stuff, but we get bombs as well. So awesome.
So set abilities, dexterity, wisdom, I think.
For the perception?
Yeah. Well, and initiative.
Yes. Well,
because he can do stealth for initiative or provided you are not prepared. Gunslingers start with expert in perception, which most classes do not. So they already start a little bit ahead. So just bumping that boost just even a little bit more. And then dexterity and what do you think?
I mean, we could always go wisdom again here, or we can go charisma. Like he's a trained spy, so deception, diplomacy are probably fairly high. And he's also quippy.
Yeah. All right. So dexterity, wisdom, dexterity, charisma, dexterity.
Yep.
And then for free boosts, dexterity, charisma, wisdom.
And then I was thinking probably strength here.
Strength over con?
Nah. I mean, I think he's pretty squishy, right? Like I don't.
Yeah, he's fairly squishy, and strength will help him for climbing feats or jumping. Exactly. Whatever needs to be done. Okay, I can see that.
Something that can't be done with acrobatics can be done with athletics, right?
So skill training, athletics, which we were just talking about. Deception, diplomacy. Anything else stand out to you? Maybe thievery?
Yeah, thievery also works. Probably deception, thievery.
Okay, I can see that.
We'll pick up diplomacy later, maybe.
Yes. So by the way, the weapon I was looking at is Arbalist, because it is the crossbow with the backstabber. Backstabber is the one when they are off guard, it deals additional precision damage.
Yeah, awesome.
Which stacks with our gunslinger feats.
What do you think of first, class feat or archetype?
Let's go class feat. So we've got at level 2 defensive armament. We're not really going to have the action economy for it.
I mean, we're already removing some action economy by picking a weapon that has to reload over a bow that doesn't have to take that.
Mm-hmm. But also something with the alchemical ammunition. It does take an interact action right before you strike to activate the ammunition for it to do the special effect.
So basically, interact, strike, reload. That's your turn. I mean, that's the drawback of using the trick arrows, I suppose. You know, he's not always using them with every shot.
But that's also why I would suggest risky reload here. One action, you practice a technique for rapidly reloading your firearm, but attempting to use this technique is dangerous. Gamble when your firearm's functionality. Interact to reload a firearm. Oh, it's specifically firearm. Never mind.
Yeah, I was just about to point that out.
Quick draw, you draw your weapon and attack with the same motion. Interact to draw a weapon and strike with that weapon. But the thing is, I believe Gunslinger gives you, at the start of combat, you have it out? When you roll initiative. I believe so.
I mean, the other argument for this is he does have a katana that he uses when people get a little too close. So stowing a weapon is not a
no. So stow and draw is the same interact action now. Really? After the remaster, yeah.
I guess you could drop it.
There is fake out, which is actually pretty good.
That's what I was looking at.
With a skill, it's a reaction, which you're not going to get. So as a range, you're not really going to get reactive strikes too often. The skilled flourish of your weapon, you force an enemy to acknowledge you as a threat. Make an attack roll to aid the triggering attack. If you dealt damage to that enemy with the same weapon since the start of your last turn, you gain a +1 circumstance bonus to this roll. So it's basically the aid action to an ally's attack as a reaction, which normally to aid in a manner normally takes an action and your reaction. This means you can essentially aid an attack with just your reaction. And specifically, it does not force you to fire. So as long as you're reloaded at the end of your turn, you can use your reaction to aid an ally on their attack.
Yeah.
you are still loaded at the beginning of your next turn.
Make an attack roll. I mean, I guess it doesn't say that you fire your bullet, but I don't know if I would argue that.
I looked into this only because this is what I am using building out my gunslinger for a different campaign. You're good with fake out?
Yeah.
And it's also a team player thing. So it's essentially giving you aid on your allies' attacks for half the normal cost of the aid action. Also in something you're better at this level than any of your skills because you're expert in your attacks and you can only be trained in your skills at the moment. Skill feat or archetype? Which one do you do first?
No, skill feat's probably a little simpler.
Okay. We already took Catfall, right? Yep, up there. What do you have in mind? Or do you have one in mind?
Combat climber, always good.
Slippery prey might not be bad.
Yeah.
If somebody manages to catch you.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, steady balance is good.
Also, charming liar. Steady balance is good.
Yeah, I was gonna say either probably steady balance or would you say slippery prey? Yeah, I don't see that on skill feats.
Level 2.
Oh yes.
So what do you think? Steady balance or slippery prey?
I think slippery prey is a little bit more useful.
Okay, slippery prey.
The amount of times that you're gonna be balancing, and we're gonna be good at acrobatic.
All right, free archetype. Any initial thoughts on this?
No, I mean, there's obviously the archer dedication.
It doesn't do a whole lot for you.
Cool.
Because I was looking at archer, assassin, bounty hunter, ranger, and rogue. Those are the ones I had sort of picked out as like the leading ones.
Yeah, assassin's cool. Marking for death is a fun mechanic. You said archer, assassin. What else?
So archer, assassin, bounty hunter, ranger, and rogue.
Ranger and rogue. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I like ranger.
That's fine. Mostly it was for the like hunt target and a couple of the like ranger feats, which can give you decent ones.
I think you could get similar results with bounty hunter dedication. So bounty hunter dedication, you gain the hunt prey action. You can use hunt prey to designate a creature that you've observed, heard about, or learned about through similar means, such as a bounty board or wanted poster. In addition to the other benefits of hunt prey, you can designate a target as your prey while gathering information about them. In addition to designating them as your prey when tracking them as normal. If you have already identified your target and selected them as your prey, you gain a +2 circumstance bonus to checks to gather information about them. So this is very like detective-y, the initial dedication, which is cool. I mean, it's good flavor, and I think that fits his build pretty well.
The bounty hunter?
Yeah. And then I don't know too much about assassin.
So bounty hunter is going to be the one that's a little bit more similar to ranger. Assassin is going to be the one that's a little bit more similar to rogue. That's why I had pulled those up also, because they have a little bit more feats to choose from.
You're talking about rogue and
ranger, yeah. But I think bounty hunter or assassin both would do well. Assassin specifically gives you the sneak attack, which will give you an additional 1d4 precision damage.
Yeah, I think assassin's cool because I think with bounty hunter you're more focused on a single target during an encounter, whereas assassin you get that benefit for everyone in an encounter. Correct?
I didn't read farther in for assassin. Like Angel of Vindication and Eclipse Fatality are both very magic-y.
Ooh, so also assassin dedication. It says in addition, when attacking your mark, you have the sneak attack class feat. Except it deals 1d4 precision damage, and you don't increase the number of damage dice. Blah blah blah. You can only get one instance of precision damage. Correct?
No, you can stack precision all day as long as it's not the same feat. You can't stack sneak attack with sneak attack, but our slinger's precision will stack with this. So our +2 precision damage would stack with the precision damage from sneak attack. And one of the things specifically about ranged attacks is you do not get a mod for them. So being able to stack additional damage and stuff is nice. It does look like there's non-magic-y options, though.
I think it's up to you. I'm not against either of these. Yeah. Sorry, I was reading up on precision damage.
No worries.
Just to make sure. I do like Assassin for the sneak attack. That's very nice. And extra damage is so good.
I think, Assassin would be good.
I think it fits the Ronin part of his past.
Yep.
Whereas the Bounty Hunter is more of his like time with Black Widow and being a spy. Level 3.
Hold on. Does this not get in addition when it doesn't? It did not add. I don't know if that is an issue with Path Builder, or maybe I'm.
Sneak attack.
Yeah, it did not add. When attacking. Oh, when you're attacking your marks, so you have to have them marked. Okay, so that is something to
It is 3
consider.
actions.
It's going to burn your whole first turn in combat.
You don't need to be doing it in combat.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, like it burns a turn if you're doing it in the middle of combat, but
Well, see, that's the thing with Pathfinder though, is you use this, combat starts, and then you got to burn your whole turn.
it's
You
not
can
a,
target for assassin. What is there like a time limit on it, or is it just
no,
you set it up until
it
you change
says
it?
Requirements are the creature that you intend to mark is observed by you.
Okay.
There is no time limit.
All right. Hey, I'm all for it.
So I don't think it would even activate initiative. There's no like noticeable trait to it, right? Like it's not a offensive action. All right, skill increase
Acrobatics or stealth?
or stealth.
Let's see.
I'd say stealth is a little bit more useful.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, acrobatics, yes, to get in defensive position or like aerial position.
Yeah.
But I think stealth can get you there as well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with stealth.
General feat. Fleet, always a good option. Incredible initiative, not bad in this case.
I mean, like it's just buffing our initiative more.
Because if you roll stealth for initiative currently,
Yeah, you're
You're-
taking a penalty basically.
all right, I didn't upgrade this to level 3. That's why it's not updating. There we go. So yeah,
No,
and-
no. We currently we have a +9 to initiative with perception.
with perception and
and we have a +11 with stealth.
I believe. But if we enter combat with stealth, we get backstab. Everybody's off guard to us.
Yeah, no, I'm saying we definitely should be using stealth
Mhm.
initiative. So getting a +2, you're rolling with a +13 to initiative if you can get that stealth.
It works the same as hunt prey, and it's not an attack, so it doesn't begin initiative. It's the same as the investigator's ability as well. Okay.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I didn't have the comparison to make.
So fleet. Oh wait, we're incredible initiative. Are there any others that stand out to you?
I mean, quick jump.
Yeah.
But that's about it. I mean, there's also feather step.
Wait, where's
But
quick jump?
I mean, if we're in our favorite terrain, we ignore difficult terrain anyway.
Why am I not seeing quick jump? I do not see quick jump. Oh, I'm looking at just general, not skills, not skill feats.
There's no reason to just look at general. I don't think.
Well, the reason I generally start with just general is because the skill feats we have more chances to take. Because we will get specifically a skill feat at level 4, whereas general feat we won't get again until 6, 7.
Oof, 7. Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got incredible initiative. We've got subtle theft as well, and then
Subtle theft requires a
Oh, yeah,
free
we have
hand
another one. Yeah. Well,
and requires you to be within 5 feet of your target.
again, it's not something that you're always doing in combat. I mean, I'd argue that you're usually doing it outside of combat, so it's not something that you really need to
What the
worry
heck
about.
is
for
that?
hand.
I think it would be better to look at fleet or incredible initiative, and then maybe do the skill feat at 4. So what do you think? I could go either way on this.
I like incredible initiative, especially because
At level
Once
3,
you
that
have
would
the-
mean we would have plus 13 to initiative if we
that's-
use stealth.
That's what
It's
that's what
insane.
I'm saying. But with fleet, we've got a 25 movement speed, right?
Yes.
I mean, like bumping it up to 30 on an archer is like
So our range with our arbalist is 110 feet.
right. Like that's what I'm saying.
It's-
Like, we're a sniper.
Yeah.
We don't if you're positioning yourself correctly, you don't need to be running every
Yeah.
turn. Only if they get too close,
Level 4.
Last feet.
There's alchemical shot, but that is specifically you're making a bomb, and then it has the misfire, which can be wonky.
Mhm.
The misfire just means you have to use an action to clear it after you misfire. There's no like skill check or
clear
anything
your
like that.
longbow.
Mhm.
It's
There is running reload, which is nice. You can use stride, step, or sneak, then interact to
Oh.
reload.
That's very
And
nice.
let me double check. There's also covered reload, which we get. You duck into safe position or minimize your profile while reloading. Either take cover or attempt to hide, then interact to reload. So we already sort of get like 1/3 of running reload.
There's also cover fire.
I scrolled
That's
too
level
far.
1.
Cover
You
fire.
Make a firearm or crossbow strike The target must decide before you roll your attack whether it will duck out of the way, whether or not it will duck out of the way. If the target ducks, it gains a +2 circumstance bonus to AC against your attack. Against your attack. Or a +4 bonus to AC if it has cover. So this is for...
So this is for when you're fighting another ranged target.
Okay, so it's for forcing a foe away.
So all it does is they can choose to gain +2 circumstance bonus AC against your attack, or if they're near cover, they get +4 instead. And then if they
take a
if they take that, they get a -2 to their range attack rolls until the end of its next turn.
Yeah, never mind. That's not amazing.
It's not great because they can just choose to gain a bonus to their AC against your attack. It's only for against other ranged combatants, and even then, it's not great. Especially with how the math is figured in Pathfinder. They're already going to have a better hit than players usually.
Yeah, I mean, that would put them basically on par. You're wasting a shot, basically. Running reload is good. I like running reload.
Yep, running reload is good. And it fits our issue of if even coming up with fleet, which we don't need because we can now reload and move at the same time.
Skill feat, Shadow Mark. You've learned special tricks that help you follow individuals without them noticing you. When you attempt a stealth check to avoid notice when following a specific target, the target takes a -2 circumstance penalty to their perception DC. Bumps up to -3 at master and -4 at legendary. If you start an encounter with the target while shadowing them, the target takes this penalty to their initiative to perception DC to determine if they notice you as for normal sneak.
Yeah,
I think that plays really well.
I think that's the best one. Yeah,
I think that plays really well into assassin dedication as well as all the sneak stuff that we already have.
Yep, I'm good with that.
Cool.
Free archetype class feat. Angel of Vindication. I don't. Oh, right. I think it was expert backstabber or surprise attack, probably.
This is also for undead creatures.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't crazy about Angel of Vindication. So, expert backstabber, because we already have backstab on our weapon. You excel at quickly dispatching foes. When you strike an off-guard foe with a weapon that has the backstabber weapon trait, you deal 2 extra precision damage instead of 1. If the weapon is a +3, you deal 4. But while that is really good, I think surprise attack is better. You act before foes can react. On the first round of combat, if you roll deception or stealth for initiative, creatures that haven't acted are off guard to you.
Yeah, surprise is amazing.
Giving an enemy off guard by yourself while not being able to cast magic or anything like that is really good for a ranged character. Because there's not a lot that does it for you.
Yeah, not only that, but every creature is. I mean, not that really matters. You're only shooting one target per turn, basically.
Yeah. But the fact that they start off guard to you, and we get our one shot, one kill. You roll stealth for initiative, is your trigger. Your first shot is the deadliest. Interact to draw a firearm crossbow. Your first successful strike with that weapon during the encounter deals an additional 1d6 precision damage. This precision damage increases to 2d6 at 9th level and 3d6 at 15th. So it builds more into what we've already got. So the surprise attack just gives us that off guard, so we get the extra precision damage from our weapon, and then it also gets buffed from, I believe, is it the assassin dedication also that does it? That specifically calls out the backstabber thing. One of them...
I think so, yes.
Oh, no, it is crossbow crack shot. If your crossbow has the backstabber trait and you are attacking an off-guard target, instead of the normal benefits of this feat, backstabber deals 2 additional precision damage per weapon damage die in place of its normal 1. So you essentially double your damage from backstabber.
Yep.
He's kind of gnarly. This is kind of gnarly.
Oh yeah.
And then your element, if you do end up using your alchemical ammunition for the elemental, you get, I believe, an additional 2 damage.
So what we're looking at is 1d10 plus 1d6 plus 6.
Level 4. When do you get striking? Hold on. Equipment, runes. I think it's like level 4.
Level 4.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Striking 4. Yeah. So you would be looking at 2d10, and then I believe when you have one of the precision goes up by 1 per damage die.
Yeah.
So you're looking at probably +7 or +8, 2d10 +8 roughly.
Plus 1d6 for one shot, one kill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, disgusting.
Skill increase. We already got stealth. You want to do acrobatics?
Yep.
Ability boost, dex, charisma, wisdom, strength again.
Strength. I don't know. Hold on. I think we should bump con for this one. Or no, we could bump intelligence here. That way we get diplomacy.
Okay. And then diplomacy for the skills, yeah. Ancestry feat, not a whole lot.
Yeah.
We can do general training.
Yeah, general training is probably the best thing.
And we can take fleet, which if we
Yeah.
really want it. But because it's all stuck to level 1, unless there's something else that stands out from the skills that you might want. Which if we were doing skills, we could take natural skill. Oh wait, never mind. That's something different. Never mind. That's gaining proficiency in skills. We want general training.
Even if it was, there's really no reason to swap, you know. So there's fleet, there's feather step for in difficult terrain.
Yep.
You can step into difficult terrain. I mean, I don't think that's amazing. There's Bon Mot, pretty quippy.
Yeah, I can
Launch
see
and
that.
cycle equip at a foe, distracting them. Yeah. I'd have to be within 30 feet, but
yeah. I feel like he's gonna mostly be longer than that.
yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
his diplomacy isn't
Amazing.
good because it is diplomacy, right? Yeah, it's diplomacy.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not.
Well, he doesn't. He's not trained in diplomacy.
He's trained.
Oh right, I forgot to adjust my level on there. That's why.
No worries. Fleet.
Fleet.
or quick jump. I think quick
jump.
jump is probably more helpful. Fleet, we don't need too much mobility.
You can use high jump, long as a simple action instead of 2 actions. If you do initial stride. Actually, where is it?
There's also subtle touch that I said earlier.
I'm gonna make the argument for combat climber because for combat climber, when you're in the different scenarios, you could climb up on a building or something like that and get like a bird's eye view, more or less. Sort of reminded me of when we first meet Hawkeye in the MCU and the first Thor movie.
You cannot fire your weapon when you're climbing.
Nope, but he doesn't have to put his weapon away to climb.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I worded it that way. Yeah, I'm good with combat climber. You know, you're getting your high ground event, or high ground that you want.
And also, it's harder for melee combatants to come after you.
Yeah, that's why you want the high ground.
All right.
Really, no other reason.
Combat climber.